Welcome to Sub Rosa. And we're back together again, which is nice. I did a couple of solo Sub Rosas and it just wasn't as much fun. So what have you got for us today, Eugene?
This is a doozy. Okay, so what is this thing? You would know the correct name for it. Not 360 degree when you start to rank your employees, where you get to rank people above you.
Stack ranking?
Yeah. So, but it's supposed to be anonymous, right? So, a guy, an employee, engineer, dings his boss, right? In this anonymous survey, dings his boss. Just says, yeah, the guy's kind of passive, it's not really. And then in anticipation of his own thing, he has a long list of things that he's done. He's done a yeoman's job of work, like actually saved the company millions of dollars. But he did it by himself, right? He came up with a couple of patents, did it by himself. So that situation, he doesn't have a lot of backing behind him. So then he lists all this stuff before he goes into the meeting with the boss that he anonymously dinged. And they do his review. Now, this is at Google. And the reviews are here. Needs employment down here. Meets expectations here. Exceeds expectations here. Now, this guy has developed a couple of patents, saved the company millions, did the work of, advanced the project he works on the phone, 6 months easily. By every estimation, this guy should be exceeds. Gets into the meeting, has it with his boss, comes up with meets expectations, the middle ranking, which means given that the big push for layoffs in November, dude's head is on a chopping block. Now, he doesn't know that the boss knows it was him who dinged him, and he doesn't know that this matters. He wants to know, how do I play it now? Do I say, meets expectations, so all this stuff I'm doing up here factors in meets expectations, so I guess I'll just do nothing except what I've been doing, or do less, or do I look for a new job? So I had no idea what to tell him, but I figured we could share it on Sub Rosa and come to some sort of conclusion. Again, he says he thinks it's anonymous. I say there's nothing anonymous in companies, and it probably wouldn't take too long for the boss to figure out that it was him who dinged him. But is this retaliation? What is this? What can he do to salvage this relationship? Alternatively, keep his job. So,
well, the first thing is, yes, never believe that anything is confidential.
Yeah.
Nothing is anonymous when it comes to work, right? Yeah. And, you'll see all of these, a nice software user experience. It's all confidential. I never believe it. In fact, when I do, a 360 is when you talk to everybody on a team, right? When I do 360s for executives, I do them all myself, and no one sees the interviews except for me. And I go in and I scrub everything. So it's only me. It's not software. It's not on some database. It's, right here. Yep. So don't believe that. I think as far as what to do, when you mention stack ranking, so let me just explain for people that don't know that, right? So stack ranking is like when you used to be graded on a curve in school, right? And the reason that people got frustrated with being graded on a curve at school is that it was subjective, right? Which was great if nobody understood what the teacher said. And so instead of everybody getting D's, everybody gets B's, right? But the challenge is if there's one or two people that understand everything, then they're going to get A's and everybody else is going to fail. Right. And that's essentially what stack ranking is. So with stack ranking, it got a lot of press because it was being used at Microsoft. And the idea was if there are 10 people in your department and then 2 of them have to go and 1 of them gets a raise. Now, all 10 of those people could be Nobel Prize winning economists, but 1 of them has to go. That's what stack ranking is. And I think the challenge is that stack ranking is just a way of manipulating kind of HR data to justify laying people off. So I think the first thing is for, this guy to understand that the stack ranking isn't about his abilities. but it's also really hard to argue with because he doesn't know what the numbers are. He doesn't know what he's being measured against, right? If he is, if he's an individual contributor, or IC, as it sounds like he is, if he's not working with a team, he may be held against, he doesn't even know who he's necessarily being measured against. Right. So usually stack rankings are in a team. So if you've got a team of 20 people and you get a needs improvement, you know that there were more people on your team that were doing better than you. Right. So I guess what I would suggest to him is the first thing would be, if he wants to keep his job, which presumably he does, is to try to get specific about what things he needs to do to improve. Right. So ideally that would have been included. But a lot of times when people get a lower than expected review, like a needs improvement, and as opposed to the excellent they were expecting, they get really hurt and they get in their feelings and they forget to be strategic. Right. Help me understand what specifically I need to do to have a different ranking next time. Right. And then you could, there's no reason you can ask, is this a stack ranking situation? Who am I up against? Who am I compared to? Compared to who? Would be my question, right? And a lot of ways that you can ask that without sounding defensive are, I want to, next time I have a review, what specific things do you need to see from me in order to give me and exceeds expectations? Right. And get really specific, because what you can do in that way, one is if they're trying to be good managers, which presumably the people at Google are, they should give you that information. You should have a career path. You should know what your goals are. You should have, whatever they call it, KPIs or OKRs or whatever an acronym is. So I think find out those specific things and then be aware. Like, I don't know if your friend is any part of a group that is protected. And if he's over 50 or at Google, maybe over 45, be aware of, is that playing in there? Right. Well, I'm taking notes as we speak. Yeah, he is in a protected group, older and military. So okay. So, and then I think again, everybody is going to be struggling at any place that has layoffs coming down the pike. Right? I mean, it's October now. It's the beginning of October. Layoffs are going to hit there in November. Everybody's going to be nervous. Everybody's going to be afraid. For all he knows, if they do stack ranking, this could be a political thing by some manager who wants to maintain some flexibility. And then I think the last thing I would say, Jeff, is try to be visibly productive. Yeah. Okay? Yep. If you have a boss who's in the office, even if you can do remote work, be in the office every day. Your boss is in the office. Oh yeah, right? He's all over that. Yeah, and try to have those optics in between. But like we always say, you should have your professional go bag packed and ready at all times. So your resume is up to date. You're getting in touch with people that you know at LinkedIn. You're trying to sort of be out there in the world. So. Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us for this Sub Rosa. Again, send us an email at wtf@badbossbrief.com with any questions that you have, and we will try to answer them. Thanks.